Welcome to Spirit Behind the Screen. Each episode, your host, Marty McCurdy, deep dives on industry trends around high-reliability electronics and the supply chain in aerospace and defense. This is episode 67 on QTech's crystal oscillators with Business Development Manager Fred Wolff.
Hi, this is Marty McCurdy with Spirit Electronics and our podcast Behind the Screen. And today our guest is Fred Wolff from QTech. Fred, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You are welcome. We were just discussing that we were in Bremen together for Space Tech Expo in Europe, and that we're happy to be back in AZ in the sunshine.
Yeah, that's true. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. It was a chill. Anyway, within QTech, you're their business development manager, so fancy title. Tell us what it is what business are you developing for them, and then we'll kind of get into the QTech history and roadmap and things like that. But basically, what do you do for them here? And you and I both are in Arizona.
Yeah, so I'm based here in Phoenix, and it's a business development management title, but it's a pretty broad title. I'm mainly focused on new product development. And I focus on the key programs that we're involved in for military and defense, specifically large programs like Sentinel and NGI. And my goal is to design in our products into those programs, kind of more utilization of our products within those large programs. So new business in the fact that I help develop new products for specific applications.
All right. Well, if anybody needs you, they can get your contact at the end of this podcast, right? So QTech is a supplier to Spirit. We just distribute for you. Very fortunate to have the line. It was new to us near the end of last year. We've been pursuing it for quite a while. But the core of the business is you make fabulous oscillators.
Right.
Yeah.
All we do is crystal-based oscillators.
Right. And it's fabulous. I've been to your factory, had a great walkthrough. You are completely U.S. manufactured.
That's correct.
Right.
Based in Orange County, California.
Right. Good. So let's talk a little bit about, just the legacy of QTech. I believe it's been around for several decades, very much like Spirit. But there's pretty long-standing heritage in our industry.
Yeah, so they've been making products since 1972, all within California, Southern California, originally in Culver City. And we moved down to Orange County about 6-7 years ago into a new facility. And we have been making products for space since 1985. So a lot of space heritage as well.
Nice. What do you think separates your oscillators from the rest of the world?
I think that we're solely focused on low phase noise. We are looking at new crystal resonator technology that will allow us to improve stability over temperature. We're also looking at smaller packages for swap and lower power consumption. So I think that we have an advanced product roadmap that will allow us to fulfill the requirements of our customers' needs and specific applications for harsh environment.
Oh, I like to hear it. So the oscillator part, let's unpack that a second there and back up. So on the oscillator part, is it piezoelectric or is there something else in the frequency domain?
It is specifically crystal-based, so piezoelectric. We don't do any MEMS or anything like that. We do package some IC product, crystal oscillator IC-based products in some of our products, but the bulk of it is crystals that we mount within the oscillator ourselves.
Frequency over time is always the challenge on these oscillators. So do you feel like you have a unique solution for that particular dilemma?
Yeah, we are looking at some new resonator technologies. One in particular is called an OPA. It's an orthogonal plate acoustic wave type crystal. That we feel there's a lot of promise in that type of technology to improve the stability over temperature over time and increase frequencies too. So our approach towards new products is twofold. It's basically higher frequencies and better stability over temperature.
It's exactly what we want, right, at the end. Is there any legacy? Like what exactly happens at QTech since you are such a contained, very stable supply chain for the industry, which was what we love about it. Do you have any EOL, or how do you kind of move the legacy off of, everybody agrees, right? You got to be able to keep a product line running that you're selling, right? The one-offs are always what kill us. So how do you manage that like legacy that the aerospace industry needs for 20 years?
Yeah, I think one of our policies is anti-obsolescence. And because we're privately owned, we turn inventory roughly every 7 years. So we have components to build. And I think that's why the large OEMs go with us for long programs where there's a lot of lifetime in the program, where they need to be able to order these products, 5, 10, 15 years from now. So we do have an anti-obsolescence policy so that we're still making the QT1 that we made back in 1972. So yeah, we don't obsolete anything.
Yes, I know you. You also, I talked to your president over there. You guys had a massive amount of inventory sitting there, and we discussed Group A electricals to relife it, and I was thinking to myself, what a concept in industry to sit on that much inventory to guarantee your own supply chain. It's impressive is what I have to say. Where do you think that your expected growth will be this year? Any new verticals? Are you touching, EVs, or, where is there a potential new market? Because you and I know this aerospace and defense really well.
Yeah, most of our focus is on space. And from a growth standpoint, we're seeing a lot of activity in new space, and we are developing products for new space. Our goal is to reduce lead times overall. We are expanding into the facility next to us. I think you saw that when you were there, which will give us increased capacity. We're hiring engineers and other resources to help expand our ability to build product faster. We're trying to get our lead times under 16 weeks for flight for the new space product line. It's been a challenge, but we expand the product line as well. So to answer your question, we see the growth in new space from a volume standpoint. Some of our larger programs within traditional space, GEO and beyond, should continue to grow substantially for us in the next 2 to 3 years for sure. I'm not sure exactly what the growth will be in 2025. It'll probably be somewhat flat from 2024. From a revenue standpoint, we did have 3 record years of shipments in the last 5 years. But over the next 5 years, I expect us to continue to grow probably, I would say, 8 to 10% year over year.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's good numbers too. I think we all were, I think we were talking before we actually hopped on here, is that, the COVID years, pre-COVID, post-COVID, the slingshot, the boomerangs, all these things that are happening in the industry of the post-COVID affair. It does tend to give the market a little bit of a whiplash. So, but I'm glad that, we feel like you've always been a strong company, and we're thrilled to be partnering with you for sales. I think we look at, and that's why I think we both were in Bremen actually. We look at new space as the great new market as well. And that industry tends to gravitate to us because we're very nimble and quick, and we have this full vertical, right? We do everything from ASIC design all the way package, screen qual, assembly, circuit card assembly, the works. And I think that your security of supply chain of, holding inventory and things like that is very impressive. What is the current backlog? Is it build to suit, or is there inventory on the shelf? I hear you say 16 weeks, right? Which is really quite good, by the way. But is there anything that restricts? Is crystal allocation still an issue? Is there anything that kind of keeps you from having some things on the shelf ready to sell, or how do you address that?
Right. So it depends on the product line. Some of the product lines we actually stock inventory on, and we have that inventory on our website that's available. We could provide additional information to customers on what we do on inventory. So we do have quite a few overruns from previous builds. Some of it's published, some of it's not. What's really limiting that lead time on some of the full space applications, traditional space, its testing capability is really kind of the lead time, and that's what's interesting in working with Spirit, where we could share some of those resources. From a product standpoint, as far as component availability, some crystals do pose a problem, like the package crystals that we use in some of our products. But the bare crystals, we don't really see too much of a challenge with those. Some of the ICs that we use in our oscillators, there's some problem with end of life on that type of component, but we usually buy enough wafers for many years. So I would say out of what's limiting the lead time, mostly test capabilities and capacity, and then some packaged crystals or ICs.
Gotcha. Yep. Everybody talks about, all this. I could get on a soapbox actually about the CHIPS funding to the wafer industry, but everybody talks about all of these, bring it back on shore and secure the supply chain and all that. And we see it, and we see where each, let's call it silo or segment is, right? Like all of the wafer folks, then there's all the assembly folks, but no one really realizes, except folks like you and I, and we're heavy in the test side, it is the next choke point.
Right. And
getting testers, we're super, lucky to have a long-standing relationship with Advantest, and we see that, and we try to tell people, hey, this is, we offer this, but this is a choke point coming, but it's going to come maybe this year or next year, but test is certainly the issue.
Right. Yeah, a lot of our customers will take the flight product on risk and wait for the rest of the testing to be completed.
Yeah, wait for the qual.
Right.
Yep, I get it totally. What is the, what do you think the, new product development? Is there anything on the horizon that is like, AI and, edge computing kind of applications? Anything out in the far left?
Yeah, the most, I would say, exotic thing that we're working on is a single board computer based OCXO. It has low power consumption, no internal wiring, and it can be tuned through voltage control. So that's probably something that's unique that we're working on. It's for a large program for a specific customer, but it will be a product that will be made available probably in the next 2 years or so. So I'd say that's probably one of the most advanced products departure from what we typically do. We do have, like I mentioned, the OPA that we're looking into for more stability over temperature and higher frequencies. And then we have a lot of multiple output type devices. Board space is a premium, so if you could buy a multiple output oscillator, that saves on board space. So we're developing a lot of products for space, multiple output XO as well as TCXO.
Great. Well, is there any last thoughts for Q-Tech?
Basically we focus on high reliability application, harsh environment. We only build crystal oscillators. We are privately owned. I think our competitive advantage is our approach to customer service. We build here right in the U.S., and our product roadmap is diverse, and we are investing a lot of R&D dollars into expanding the product line that we can offer. So we're looking forward to the partnership with Spirit. I think it's going to be very good. It's just getting started, but already it's been pretty active. So we appreciate all the opportunity that you presented to us so far.
Yep, you got it. The downhole, let's just touch that for a sec. So that's always a totally, the Schlumbergers of the world, that kind of thing. They're very, what's the word? Like that's an industry that's very niche-y and closed, tightly knit together, right? So I always feel like if you can break into one of those accounts, you can get into Baker Hughes then or whatever. So how much success do you have in the downhole?
We do have some. It is a small portion of our overall business. We have some high temp products that are targeted towards downhole, and we have a handful of customers that have been buying the products that we offer over the last 10, 20 years. So it's somewhat limited. But as you know, that business goes up and down significantly with the price of oil. So we don't have a lot of new products for downhole on the roadmap. We are looking at higher temp products that we're finding interest from our traditional customer base for hypersonics and things of that nature. So we're looking into epoxies, high temp epoxies, and other types of materials used for mounting the crystal. So we're looking to that. So there's a lot of R&D in high temp.
Yes, I'm aligned with you totally there. Some of the requests coming in from our R&D side on test, and same thing, assembly and all of those things. The temperatures they're talking about, I never thought I would see.
Like 300-ish. I don't know if you're seeing
We're
300.
way above that.
Yeah.
It's
Seeing
interesting.
extreme cold as well. I don't know if you've seen that for deep space.
We
There's
have.
like some extreme cold for lunar applications and things of that nature. Yeah.
I call it squeeze ketchup. As soon as somebody figures it out, everybody's going to go, well, that was easy.
Yeah.
Might not be easy, but the first breakthrough, then everybody else then can build on that,
Right.
innovation. So
Yep.
always looking forward to it. Well, Fred, thank you so much for being on the show today with us. I hope that our listeners get to, if they don't know you, to get a little knowledge on Q-Tech, and if they do know you, they see where the roadmap's going. So make you and our jobs easier, right?
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Yep, you're welcome. And this is Marti McCurdy with Spirit Electronics, and our guest, Fred Wolff with Q-Tech behind the screen.
Thanks for listening with Spirit this week. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast to let us know what you want to hear about in aerospace and defense. You can find out more about Spirit's value-added services and product lines at spiritelectronics.com.